Embroidery is back on Printify, and I have 3 hats here that I cannot wait to show you. Now, this is not the first video you've probably seen about embroidery, but this will be the first video that shows you how to automate this entire process. I don't have time to sit here and manually update every order, and that's what everyone keeps showing you. This long, drawn out process that you have to perform every time a consumer places an order. I mean, who has time for that? It's cool if you want to lose your entire day to fulfill just 5 orders, but I don't. I'm over here focused on trying to make money, not waste my time. And I want to teach you how to do the same. So join me as I go over the quality of these hats and teach you how to get this business up and running today. Now, before I start, you know I love to give out free stuff. And in this video, I have a few things planned. But to make it even more interesting, how does $100 sound? At some point in this video, I'm going to explain how you can get this $100. And no, I don't mean earn it. I'm going to mail you a check for $100. Or Cash App it since we are in 2024. Either way, make sure you pay close attention. Or don't, and I'll just keep the money. I know one thing that's on everyone's mind. How is the quality? And this is super important because if you plan to sell these, you need to know what to expect. So how do they look? Well, quite frankly, I was impressed. Now, Printify currently only has one print provider for embroidery, and they are currently limited to what they can actually embroider. They do hats and patches on the left chest of a sweatshirt or polos. But knowing Printify, this is just the start, and they probably will be expanding very soon. Either way, this is what we have right now, so let's take a look. You might notice that the stitching is more flat and not raised. This is a single stitch embroider. Unfortunately, at this time, they don't offer the puffy style. However, the most profitable hats on Etsy right now are more simple like this. So it won't take away from your sales. Now what I love is the colors were actually spot on. Printify provides an entire guide, which I'll cover in just a minute. I honestly didn't use the guide. I wanted to break some rules. Now, I don't suggest that you do this for your orders. I really only did this for this video. Plus, I kinda hate rules. My logo is definitely not one of the colors suggested to use. And this one actually has a very super thin line. But I really wanted to test out the quality in all aspects for you. And honestly, it's crazy. I mean, look at these. The thin embroidery came out better than I could have ever expected. And my logo, again, was spot on with the color. So talk about shocked when I opened up the package. Plus, there were no issues with the seams. I've used local embroidery companies before, and every time I've had something created, it goes over the seam, and the stitching looks like crap. So Printify really came out strong with this one because there is no separation, no bunching, and just nice clean stitches right across it. Seriously, I was just impressed. And as for the thin lines, same thing. They're just amazing. I was expecting a lot of jumping and missed stitches, especially with how thin this is. But overall, it came out great. Now, you're probably wondering, whose hats are these? Well, this one's mine, and this one's Tiger's. So now let's move on to the do's and don'ts. Before I get into how fast you can create these and automate this entire process, let me show you the guidelines. This will ensure a nice clean look and happy customer. First, they want you to use nice solid shapes and colors. This ensures that the stitching is accurate and won't be all over the place. They advise that you provide high quality images with a 300 dpi, that's at least 1200 by 675 pixels. And finally, they want the design to be simple, which again ensures a nice clean look. In the guide, they provide some examples. Since you are limited to 14 different colors, having gradients is kind of off limits. So separating the color is recommended. The same applies to filling in negative spaces. If you want to have a border around your letters, it's suggested to make it large enough to cover all areas. And finally, if you have a realistic image, they want you to make it into a vector, which means solid lines. All of these suggestions will allow you to get the best quality possible. And I do agree with these guidelines. So don't go rogue like me. So now let's get on to the real money. How do we make these? See, everyone is showing you this long process. They show you how to download the template from Printify, open it with Canva, Kittl, or Photoshop, add the text, change the color, save the image, upload it to Printify, and then launch the product. Now here's the horrible part. Most of the big sellers are custom-made hats, meaning that you're adding a person's name, a phrase, or whatever that consumer wants to add. So each time you receive a sale, you would have to repeat this process. Even though Printify offers customization now, you cannot add the text to the hat. This is because embroidered items need to be digitized, meaning they have to be submitted as a picture. The production partner then digitizes the item to make it embroiderable. So if this process takes you, say, 15 minutes each time, and you have 20 orders that day, that means you're sitting in front of a computer for 5 hours. No, thank you. Who has time for that? So let me show you how to get this all done within 1 minute, not 15. We're going to use Anywhere POD for this. They're actually a recommended partner of Printify, and Chris, the owner, really cool guy. I actually had him on my channel when I first started, and he's the one that actually talked me into offering personalization. Before, I really didn't. He's also the first person to ever provide my subscribers with a free trial, and that still applies today. I'll leave the info below in the description. Now you may be wondering, well, what's the benefit of this program? See, when a customer makes a purchase, they enter the name or text that they want on that hat. Anywhere POD then takes that information and automatically applies it for you. They create a duplicate inside Printify and put it in your order queue. All you have to do is simply log on to Printify, make sure everything looks good, and approve it. It seriously takes less than a minute, meaning those 20 orders now take you 20 minutes, not 5 hours. So let's jump on Anywhere POD. You go to product category and then you go to hats. Scroll down to the hat that you want, which we're going to use the classic dad hat here. And then you select Start Designing. Fulfill Engine is the US supplier for Printify. Now I'm going to show you how fast and easy this is. You can add pictures, you can add text, you can add clip art. So we're just going to add text here, and I'm just going to write text here just for the time being, just to show you how quick and fast this is. So now we could just resize this to however we want. And we can move it wherever we want. Now from there, you click Personalized, and pretty much that's all you really need to do. You can change the color if you want, you can change the fonts, styles if you want, whatever. You also have these other options here. So dynamic and preset. Preset means that it would be set to a certain length. But if you do dynamic, no matter how many characters that actual consumer puts in, it will make sure that it stays within this box here, okay? Now, you also have these other options that you can do here by clicking on Advanced. And say if you want it to have text effects, this is the great part, right? So remember, one of the things that you can do on Printify is having those text effects. You can add blur, offset, colors. So say if I wanted to add some green around it, and we want to add 10, there you go. That simple, that fast. And we are done. We could curve it if we wanted to. We could create patterns if we wanted to, uppercase it. The possibilities are really endless on this system. So after you're done with what you want, and say that's what you want, okay, you can even see what it would look like on there by clicking on Preview Mockup. And then there's your preview right here. So select which variants you want, and then you just click Create Product. Now the product is all created, You can change the title, you can change the description, you can add your tags, you can put the different variations that you want in here, and you can also select if you want bundles and your shipping profile. From there, you just click Create New Etsy Listing, and then it puts it inside your draft. Now, this is the great part too. Say if you've already created this listing on Printify and you want to link it in some way, you can actually do that right here, Set Etsy Listing. And what you do is you click this, and then you just put the last couple digits that are on that actual Etsy listing, and then it'll link it to it. And you're good to go. Pretty simple, right? What's even crazier is you're not stuck with the fonts in the system. Chris created a section where you can actually upload your own fonts. You go to My Artwork, Fonts, then Add Custom Font. The possibilities of font styles are endless, which allows your items to stand out amongst all the competition. So make sure you check out Anywhere POD after this video. The link is in the description. And if you enter code Etsy Mentor, you get 1 month free. Now, if you ever watched this video, I provided you with an action to turn any person or animal into a cartoon figure with just one click. So I'm going to do the same, but for embroidery. This will allow you to create your own mock-ups and not rely solely on the ones provided by Printify. Now, before we get into that, how about that $100 I talked about earlier? Do you still want it? This is how you can get it. Comment money on the video. And last, so I know who to contact, click the link in the description to download that free embroidery action. I'll announce the winner on Friday on my YouTube community. I'll contact you via email. So now, let's get back to showing you how this action works. For this, I'm going to use Photopea, which is free. So first, launch the program, launch the download I provided, click this right here, enter the text you want, go to Save Smart Object, and bam, you're done. That fast. Your font is now automatically altered to an embroidery style font. You can now apply this to any mockup, and it'll look more realistic. Just make sure that you actually save this as a PNG file so the background is transparent. And if you're wondering where to get hat mockups from, you can visit Creative Market or Creative Fabrica. They have a ton of options that you can purchase. I unfortunately don't have a graphics designer on hand specifically for mockups right now. But when I do, I'll be sure to let everyone know and give those mockups for free as well. Until then, those two sites are great and they have a lot of cheap options. This will allow you to stand out from everybody. I hope that this video helped you determine whether or not you want to launch this item. I love these hats, and clearly, Tiger does too. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below. You know I love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Ready? Here we go. You just keep licking, you're confusing me. Hey, what are you doing, girl?